Hello and welcome back to Bootleg Macro, your number one source for the most active stocks in the US stock market. Today we're going to be looking at Alibaba, BABA. Here looking at the chart, what we can see in the most recent action is a gap higher, an incredible breakout from Alibaba recently. I don't know what the news was, but I can tell that the market has overwhelmingly turned positive and at least bullish here on Alibaba. And we can see that there's been some lows around 60. We've hit a peak around 121 recently, but it looks like this $100 level is what we're next to clear when it comes to this recent breakout. What's wonderful when you have a gap as well is that if this is based on earnings or if this is based on a catalyst, the gap in general is generally going to give you probably a small little pullback, and then you're going to want to be able to buy once it kind of hits this base and fills the gap. We'll go ahead and look at the overall daily price sentiment. So what you see here on the daily sentiment indicator, the green is the bullish price action, the red is the bearish price action. What we can see is that we essentially went from a peak here at 62% bullish in January down to a base here in February at 36%. As it starts to ride up, we can see that we did get a bullish or a bearish push here in the beginning of March. We see we got a few more bearish pushes as it broke down below that moving average in the middle of March, but we can see that we are almost right above 50% bullish price action, which is a great indication of a possibility to go long and just ride the trend. Let's look at the volume. Looking at volume for Alibaba, we can see that today was a record day of volume, at least in this 6-month look back period. This is the highest volume that Alibaba has had in the entire period since July of 2022. Over 118 million shares were traded today. Just for context, back in October of 2022, there was 101 million shares traded, and that was the highest up to that point. We scroll up and look at the chart, we can see is this was the day on October 24th when we had the highest volume, and now today we have higher volume and a breakout. So it's a great indication of what we should expect going forward. Let's look at the volatility here for Alibaba. The red is the volatility, the blue is the price correlation to volatility. The one thing that we can see here is at least as the correlation was rising and the volatility was falling, that was mimicking the type of behavior we were seeing when Alibaba appears to have been bottoming or at least dropping significantly. It looks like the volatility started to fall on the 13th. Correlation started to rise around the 15th. So if we look here, we can see that the 13th, 14th, and 15th, it was falling. And then we get a change in the momentum of the actual stock where we're starting to rise, even though the correlation is still negative, but rising. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the non-sentiment daily trade range here for Alibaba. We can see that for the first time since January of 2022, the price has actually gone above top of the probability range. So this is a great indication. What we're looking for now is actually for the top of this range to start either basing out and going higher so that we change and break away from what looks like a bearish trend overall in Alibaba. Similar to how we saw here where it was falling in the late part of 2022, it bottomed here in November of 2022 and then started to move up after we got this big breakout in November. And then you got what appeared to be at least a good bullish move that you could ride for the next 2 or 3 months. This is probably a great indication of things to come in Alibaba, but you do always want to be patient because no matter what, just because you get a breakout to the top of a range, it can fall back before it consolidates and then starts to make some more gains higher. So this has just been a great daily breakdown here by Bootleg Macro. If you have any comments, thoughts, feel free to like, subscribe, or comment below. Can't wait to hear what you think. And are you buying Alibaba? That's really the question that we have today. Do you want a piece of this action?